Hi class! Today we learned how to solve systems of linear equations by using the substitution method. So what I did is I created a webcast that will help you in case you get stuck on a homework problem, and maybe it'll give you a little bit more guidance so that you can be more successful. So what I did is I picked two equations here. I just randomly made them up and to use for our example. So our first step is to solve one of the equations for a single variable. I chose to solve for the y in the first equation because it didn't have any coefficients in front of them. It was positive, so we didn't have to worry about dividing by -1 at the very end and having to change a bunch of signs. And what I mean by solving for a variable is to get it by itself. So I need to get y having no coefficients in front of it, and y needs to be the only thing on that, or the only variable on that side of the equation. So I've subtracted 2x from each side of our equation, giving me y equals -2x plus 4. At the top here, I just stated the original equations in case you need them for reference. But right here is the solution that we got for y. And at this point, we only know y to equal -2x plus 4. We don't have a single value for y at this point in our process. So our second step is to substitute your value into the equation that we did not use. So we solved for y in the first equation. So what we're going to do is plug our value for y into the second equation. So we do this by putting -2x plus 4 in place of our y variable in our second equation. So 3x plus 2 times -2x plus 4 equals 6 is our new equation. And now we can solve for the value of x because x is our only variable that we see. So after I distribute and simplify, I come up with a value of x equals 2. And at the end here you can see that originally -x equals -2. Don't forget that there is a -1 in front of this x, and then x is not completely by itself, meaning there's no coefficient in front of it, until you divide by -1 on each side. So our third step is to use your solution to solve for the other unknown variable. So again, over here is our process that we used to solve for x, and we got x to equal 2. We're now going to go back to our first equation, and I would recommend going back to the original equation and you can use the equation when you solve for y, but just in case there was a mistake made along the way, it's always safest to go back to the original equation because you know there are no mistakes there. So we have x to equal 2, and what we have to do is put our 2 in for our x in our original equation, which is the first equation in this case. And when we do that and we simplify, we get that y is equal to 0. Now these two variables don't mean, they actually mean something. So in this case, we're going to make a ordered pair out of them. So an ordered pair is x comma y, meaning 2 comma 0.